Baruch Hashem Yah, Hashem Yahushua, Baruch Hashem Yahushua. Shalom, family. Today's lesson is entitled The Purpose of Manna. And the goal today is to kind of look at what Yah did for our people, what he did for the children of Israel, and how he fed them with manna, sustained them with manna, and used manna, for different purposes. And we're going to examine that because it's important for us today, It's not just something we look at, oh, this happened when our people were in the wilderness and blah, blah, blah. No, we have to look at it now for our lives because we need manna too. We just don't know we are at times. And we have to make sure the way we behave ourselves is in line with what Yah is looking for, And we're going to cover some scripture in the Old Testament, Exodus, Numbers, Deuteronomy, places like that, and kind of go through and look at some things here because it's important to examine this and then apply it to us today, We start in Exodus 16, verses 4 and then 14 through 21. And Yahuah said to Moshe, "See, I am raining bread from the heavens for you, and the people shall go out and gather a day's portion every day in order to try them, whether they walk in my Torah or not." And the layer of dew went up, and see, on the surface of the wilderness was a small round substance, as fine as frost on the ground. And the children of Israel saw, and they said to each other, "What is it?" For they did not know what it was. And Moshe said to them, "It is the bread which Yahuah has given you to eat. This is the word which Yahuah has commanded. Let every man gather it according to each one's need, an omer for each being according to the number of beings, and let every man take for those who are in his tent." So Yahuah made a law for this manna, Get what you need, Only enough for you and your family, just enough, And the children of Israel did so and gathered some more, some less. And they measured by omers. And he who gathered much did not have too much, and he who gathered little did not have too little. Each one gathered according to his need. And Moshe said, "Let no one leave any of it till morning." And they did not listen to Moshe. Some of them left part of it until morning, and it bred worms and stank. And Moshe was wroth with them. And they gathered it every morning, each one according to his need. And when the sun became hot, it melted. So we're already seeing some things here, First of all, what Yah says in verse 4. "I'm raining bread from heavens for you, and people should go out and gather a day's portion every day in order to try them." Now we're going to get into that more, And you have to understand, and we're going to really talk about it because Yah is going to really explain what he was doing with this. But we have to understand what this manna is. It is just enough. So it is a law of just enough. Not just enough just so you can barely get by, but to try you, to prove you because something else is coming. Now we'll get into that, all right? We already talked about how we don't have lack, and that's important, but we have to understand that there's a path to get there. Now, when you're praying for something, when you really want something, when you're really desiring or needing something, that manna's coming, And we're going to get to why that manna's coming. Let's go to Deuteronomy 8, 1 through 10. We're going to break this down a little bit as to why this is happening, because you're kind of listening to this and you might be thinking, "Oh, just enough," and maybe you're in a situation where it seems like you just have enough to get by. You had enough to make, like the bare necessities to make it. Some things over here may not be addressed right now. Other things over there may not be addressed right now. This might be addressed at the moment, but as far as you having the bare necessities to survive, you have it. And that's your manna, We're going to look at Deuteronomy 8 through 10, Deuteronomy 8, 1 through 10. It says, "Guard to do every command which I command you today, that you may live and shall increase and go in, and shall possess the land which Yahuah swore to your fathers. And you shall remember that Yahuah, your Elohim, led you all the way these 40 years in wilderness, to humble you, prove you, to know what is in your heart, whether you guard his commands or not." Now, we're not being in a wilderness for 40 years, but like I said, these patterns, Yah will continue these patterns in our lives. What he did for us in days of old, he does today. Okay, they just may look different, but he will deal with us individually and collectively in the same ways because Yah changeth not. Now, we will continually go through these types of motions, these types of tests, these types of situations, because Yah still wants to see the same thing in his people that he wanted to see then. Now, look at verse 3. And he humbled you and let you suffer hunger and fed you with manna, which you did not know, nor did your fathers know, to make you know that man does not live by bread alone, but by every word that comes out of the mouth of Yahuah. Okay? Now, why did he do it? To humble you. Why are you eating manna right now? Why is it just enough? When you are praying for more and you're needing more, there are things that need to be addressed, but you still had to bare necessities. Now, why? He's humbling you. And we're going to get into why he's humbling you, okay? Not just to be doing it. There's a reason. You understand man does not live by bread alone, meaning these material things, whatever things you might need to satisfy your fleshly needs. But what you're actually living by is the word of Yah, the word to come out of his mouth. Not these material things that you think you need or, in a fleshly sense to survive. The real survival is in the spiritual realm. This is what Yah is looking at. But let's keep going. Your garments are not wear out on you, nor does your foot swell these 40 years. Okay, look at this. Thus you shall know in your heart that as a man disciplines his son, so Yahuah your Elohim disciplines you. Okay? Therefore, you shall guard the commands of Yahuah your Elohim, to walk in his ways and to fear him. This is why you eat manna. There is a humbling there. There is a discipline there. Okay? So that you can be sure to guard the commands of Yahuah. That's your focus. That's what you need to be focused on. Yes, you need things. There's some things going on in this world, and the flesh needs this, that, and the third. But what Yah wants is for you to guard his commands, to walk in his ways. Okay? Now let's look at verse 7 through 10 here. For Yahuah your Elohim is to bring you into a good land, a land of streams of water, of fountains and springs that flow out of valleys and hills, a land of wheat and barley, of vines and fig trees, pomegranates, a land of olive oil and honey, a land in which you eat bread without scarcity, in which you do not lack at all. Now, we talked about that, right? A land whose stones are iron, and out of whose hills you dig copper, and you shall eat and be satisfied, and bless Yahuah, your Elohim, for the good land which he has given you. This is why you're eating manna right now, because when Yah brings you into the blessing he has for you, okay, you have to bless him for the good land that you understand he has given you. Okay, we're going to get more into this. Okay, Deuteronomy 8:11 through 20. Let's keep going, because this is really important, because a lot of us are eating that manna right now. We just have enough. It's just enough. Okay, you're living just enough for the city, right? But there is a purpose behind that. Now let's keep going. Deuteronomy 8 verse 11. Be on guard lest you forget Yahuah your Elohim by not guarding his commands and his right rulings and his laws, which I command you today. Lest you eat, shall be satisfied, and build lovely houses and dwell in them, and your herds and flocks increase, your silver and gold are increased, and all you have is increased, that your heart then becomes lifted up, and you forget Yahuah your Elohim, who brought you out of the land of Mizraim, from the house of bondage. We are always going to be those people who were brought out of the land of Mizraim. You understand? Who led you through that great and awesome wilderness, fiery serpents, scorpions, thirst, where there was no water, who brought water for you out of a flinty rock. That's what he did for us. Look at this. Here we go again, 16. Who fed you in the wilderness with manna, which your fathers did not know, in order to humble you and try you, to do you good in the end. So you are wanting Yah to do you good. Well, eat that manna. And you eat it with gladness, because we're going to get into our people not eating it with gladness and what happened to them as a result, okay? He wants to do you good. So you barely got enough. And it's you feel the stress. You feel the distress. You feel the uneasiness of the situation. That's manna. You have just enough. If you try to gather more, it rots. You're only going to get just enough so that y'all can do you good in the end. Look at verse 17. You then shall say in your heart, my power and the strength of my hand have made for me this wealth. No, he don't want you there, see. That's why he's manna right now. He doesn't want you there. You gotta make sure that's not going to be a problem when the riches increase, when the blessing comes, when these things overflow in your life that you ain't sitting here talking about. Because you know that's what Little Debbie or Hasatan going to say. You did this. You worked hard, you did it. You put in the work, you did this, you didn't give up and all that type of stuff. And that's, you're just totally taking the glory away from Yah. You're not blessing him, you're blessing yourself. We can't be there, so this manna has to be here because we have to make sure we're going to follow the commandments of Yah and bless him when the increase comes. Verse 18, but you shall remember Yahuah your Elohim, for it is he who gives you power to get wealth, in order to establish his covenant which he swore to your fathers as it is today. It's already written here, so Yah's he's going to change the situation. But that manna going to come first. That's why when you pray for things, the things you're praying for, a lot of times, that's what gets attacked. Whether it's financial or physical or things going on in your life, you pray for that specific thing, that's what seems to be strained or attacked or hindered. Where, oh man, it's just enough. Oh, they didn't demote me. Oh, they didn't, decrease my salary or whatever. And now, you skating by. That's manna. It's just enough. And so that's what he's doing, giving you just enough. Because listen, he's telling you this. When I increase these things, then you're going to remember me. Now, verse 19, and it shall be, if you by any means forget Yahuah your Elohim, and follow other mighty ones, and serve them, and buy yourselves to them, I have warned you this day, you should certainly perish. Like the nation which Yahuah is destroying before you, so you ought to perish, because you did not obey the voice of Yahuah your Elohim. Of course, our people, we're in the boat we're in now as a whole because of all of this. But again, these patterns repeat. You have to understand that. There is a humbling, there is a trying, there is a proving that has to occur. Yah's going to do that. Okay? Okay, let's keep going here. Exodus 16, 31 through 35. And the house of Israel called his name manna. And it was like white coriander seed. The taste of it was like cakes made with honey. And Moshe said, this is the word which Yahuah has commanded. Fill an omer of it to keep your generations, so that they see the bread which I fed you in the wilderness, when I brought you out of the land of Mizraim. It's so important. He wanted them to put some aside and hold on to it to show them, keep it. And Moshe said to Aaron, take a pot and put in an omer of manna in it and set it down before Yahuah to keep it for your generations. Yahuah commanded Moshe, so did Aaron set it down before the witness to keep. This is how important it was. They kept it. We had it with us to look back on it. This is very important to Yahuah. Keep it so that you can remember this, so the generation can see the bread, okay, that I fed you with. And our memorial of this manna is these scriptures we're reading. Verse 35, and the children of Israel ate manna 40 years until they came to an inhabited land. They ate manna until they came to the border of the land of Canaan. So until they got to that milk and honey, so until you get to that blessed land, okay, in your world, your desire where Yah is going to bring you, you have to eat this manna. Okay, now let's get into numbers, because we want to kind of look at what we don't want to do. Because somebody might be doing this right now, and you got to stop. We got to stop you. You need an intervention, because you're going to get in trouble if you're complaining about this manna. Okay, so Numbers 11, 1 through 10. And it came to be, when the people were as complainers, it was evil in the ears of Yahuah. And Yahuah heard it, and his displeasure burned. So you start complaining, I'm sick of this man, I'm sick of this situation. And there's a lot of ways to complain, And that's one thing y'all does not want to hear, complaints. You do not want to hear it. Now, the devil wants to hear it. He wants you to shout it from the rooftops. Tell everybody you can. I don't know, get an attitude about it. Act up like a little baby, Pout about it, whatever. So that y'all can be displeased. So yeah, he wants you to be a complainer. It says here, y'all got angry. His displeasure burned. And the fire of Yahuah burned among them and consumed those in the outskirts of the camp. They got burnt up. Okay? Now, eat manna with gladness will get burnt to a crisp. That's what I'm seeing right here. And the people cried out to Moshe, and Moshe prayed to Yahuah, and the fire died down. Then he called the name of the place Taberah, because the fire of Yahuah had burned among them. And the mixed multitude who were in their midst lusted greatly. And this is, oh goodness. That's why you can't have, people in your midst who don't believe like you. Now, we got a mixed multitude. You have some Mistrites or Egyptians in the mix who were pagans and all kinds of issues they had. And they were bringing all this stuff in with them because they came out. A lot of them came out of Egypt. I guess some of the lower class people in Egypt, the ones who, I'm getting out of here too, and they were hanging around us. If you have people, and they can even be an Israelite, they don't have to be another nation, but their mindset, okay, can put you in a bad place. The mixed multitude were in their midst and lusted greatly. So the children of Israel also wept again and said, who has given us meat to eat? Now, if you go back, because I always say, hey, read these scriptures I'm coming out of, read the whole books, okay? Yah was giving them some meat at night. He was giving them a few quails here and there, But no. They don't want just that. They're sick of this manna, okay? They want more. This is what the devil does, okay? When you're eating that manna, here he come. What is this? What is this? Now you just got paid, and 2 days later it's all gone. Okay? What is this? Trying to figure out how to get gas, trying to figure out how to do this, trying to figure out how to do that. Phone is ringing off the hook because people want this, people want that. It's just, what is this? This is not abundance. So this is what he's going to tell you. Oh, look what they said. Look what these idiots said now. We don't want to be here. We remember the fish, which we ate without cost in Mitzrayim, without cost, and you as a slave, without cost. The cucumbers, melons, leeks, onions, garlic, anything but what the manna. Okay? So when you make the decision, you're going to follow Yah. You're going to turn away from all this worldly stuff and follow Yah and give your heart to him. The devil want to go back to before when you was just one with the world. You was able to hustle. You was able to lie, cheat, and steal. Get all kinds of money here, money there. Do this, that, and the third. Whether it was right or wrong, who cares? Money's coming in. Oh, remember those times when you was doing all that? Boy, don't you miss that? Don't you miss having what you needed when you was fooling with so-and-so or doing this, that, and the third? Don't you miss being able to, get what you wanted? And you see, he's going to come so many ways. But here they go. Oh, I'll miss all this stuff. But now our throat is dried up. That's verse 6. There is nothing to look at but this manna. I'm tired of barely making it. I'm tired of too much month at the end of my money. See, this is what will get you in trouble. And you miss out on so much that you might just be a moment away from. You don't know. But all we got to look at is this manna. And it says that the manna was like coriander seed. Its appearance was like the appearance of bdellium. And the people went out and gathered it, ground it in millstones, beat it, cooked it in the pot, made cakes. Everywhere you look is manna. We making cakes, we making stew, we doing this, we doing that. And it's kind of how you feel. Every month I'm doing this. Every paycheck I'm doing this. I'm doing that. Ain't enough of this. Ain't enough of that. That's the manna. But this is the attitude that you cannot have. Because the manna's here again to try us, to prove us, test us. Are you worthy to get what you ask for? Or is your mind going to be right when you get it? Are you humble enough to receive it? Because really, what really matters is obeying me. Okay. So when the dew fell on the camp at night, the manna fell on it. And Moshe heard the people weeping throughout their clans, each man at the door of his tent. And the displeasure of Yahuah burned exceedingly. In the eyes of Moshe, it was evil. So they crying. They're crying. Men, women, children. Crying because they eating a lot of manna. So y'all got upset with all of this. Okay. And he came to Moshe and he's like, listen, say to the people, set yourselves apart for tomorrow. You shall eat meat. Because you have wept in the hearing of Yahuah, saying, who has given us meat to eat? For it was well with us in Mizraim. And Yahuah shall give you meat and you shall eat. You are going to eat it. Not one day, nor 2 days, nor 5 days, nor 10 days, nor 20 days, but for a month of days, till it comes out of your nostrils and becomes an abomination to you, because you have rejected Yahuah, who is among you, and have wept before him, saying, why did we come up out of Mizraim? So if you reject the manna, it says here, you are rejecting Yahuah, who is among you. If you are, and if you have prayed and you believe and you serve Yah and you trust him, and you have barely enough, that means Yah is among you. That means he's right there. And if you reject that lack, what you appear to be lack, you think it's lack, it's really not lack. It's just enough. If you reject that skating by situation, you're rejecting Yah. Who is among? He's there, but he's just watching you, recording things. You reject him when you reject just enough. Okay, the law of the manna. And Moshe said, the people in whose midst I am are about 600,000 men on foot. And you have said, I give them meat to eat for a month of days. Could flocks and herds be slaughtered for them, sufficient for them? Or could all the fish of the sea be gathered together for them, be sufficient for them? And Yahuah said to Moshe, is the arm of Yahuah too short? Now see whether my word meets you or not. And Moshe was like, how you going to do this? How you going to flood all this meat in the camps for them to eat like this? You don't want Yah. See, because you keep praying for a thing. They always say be careful what you wish for. Yah will overwhelm you with the thing. Okay? And run you into the ground in anger. I don't want that. I'd rather be in my mind in peace and find gratitude in my heart than keep saying, I want this, I want that. And y'all just run me over with it. And it's just like a Mack truck flattening you. Because he can overwhelm you with good, or he can overwhelm you with evil. That you think is good. It appears to be what you want. Appears to be the right time. And appears to be the thing that you need. And you be destroyed by it. So a wind went forth from Yahuah and brought quail from the sea and let them fall beside the camp about a day's journey on this side and about a day's journey on the other. Oh man, it was everywhere. All around the camp, about 2 cubits above the surface of the ground. And the people were up all day, all night. And all the next day, getting quails. He who has least gathered 10 homers, and they spread them out for themselves all around the camp. See, if Yah will come upon you with something that's meant to destroy you, and devil will come up to you and say, look at this blessing. because, you rejected Yah, right? Because you cried and complained. This is not how we do. You can cry out to Yah. You can be totally sincere in your heart and pour yourself out to him, yes. And lay yourself at his feet, yes. But to be complaining, that kind of crying, what is this? You better watch out. And look here. The meat was still between their teeth before it was chewed. And the wrath of Yahuah burned against the people. And Yahuah smote the people with an exceeding great plague. I don't know about you, but I'd rather eat my manna and wait for my, milk and honey than be sitting here begging and complaining and whining and acting a fool until something happen I think I won't, and get destroyed with any other fools that's dumb enough to do the same thing. This is not what we're going to do. Okay? The purpose of manna, to try you, to prove you, to humble you, to prepare you. So when the increase comes, first of all, you bless Yahuah, not yourself. And you have the right mindset. You see, because this is a building process. When Yah is working through us, on us, with us, he is proving us, he is trying us, he's building us up so that we can keep adding to what we have. We can keep an understanding there, because they'll try to take things away from you in your mind. It gets you focused on the wrong things. Yah has to bring you back. Yah has to say, let's stay on the straight and narrow here. Let's continue, okay, to have a mind focused on me and my commandments, not no fleshly stuff, not some kind of satisfaction, not looking at what other people doing, trying to mimic that, or getting mad because somebody doing something you haven't done, or whatever. It's endless, the ways that the devil come at you and try to get your mind off of where you're supposed to be. So understand, you pray for things, you're waiting for something, you believe, but you're barely making it. You are eating manna from heaven now. You have to bless Yahuah. Show that you're grateful for what you have. Take some time out to thank him every day. Okay? That you barely was able to pay rent. You had to break it up. You had to do this, whatever, but you paid it. You still can cut the lights on. You still got a roof over here. You still can eat. It might not be steaks and, all kinds of good, expensive things. Maybe what you ate a little while back. Maybe it's, you had to cut some corners, But you understand you're eating manna from heaven. This is the law of manna. And it is a law of just enough. But it is to humble us, to make us, and to help us along the way. So again, read these books that I've come out of. It's important to keep your reading up and your studying and understanding. And just understand that Yah got you, okay? And you don't want to repeat these errors that our people did in the past, so we won't have those disastrous results. Until next time, hallelujah, and Yah the blessing to his word.